Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your source for gaming, tech, emulation, and open source news. Let's get started. Alright, to kick things off, yes, I'm still camping. Yes, it's another absolutely gorgeous morning out. And who knows, maybe we'll see a fluff, maybe we won't, but come along with me on my morning walk here and let's talk some news. So first up on the docket, we're talking about Windows emulation on Android with not WinNow, but Winlator. And not specifically Winlator, but a fork of Winlator called Winlator Bionic. And it seems Winlator Bionic may have been infected by a virus. So the affected build is up on GitHub here, at least I think this is it. It's called Just Bionic No GLIBC, and it's followed by Custom Build Don't Use, and I guess the custom build heats up your phone. So anyways here, the developer has weighed in, and yes, it was infected by Floxif. So the developer says here, if you have an APK of Winlator Bionic, delete it now, as in the current state, it's not safe for your devices. And always remember, there are no official APKs of Winlator Bionic, as the developer does not distribute them. An interesting part about this is that I guess it was a completely different file altogether that was infected with Floxif compared with what was infected in Winlator before. Some people were suspecting that someone pulled an infected version of Winlator in order to make this Winlator Bionic, but that doesn't seem to be the case. It is worth pointing out here that Winlator and Winlator Bionic are two separate projects. Winlator Bionic is built off of Winlator, and I believe that this specific issue is isolated to Winlator Bionic and not present on Winlator. So again, at this point in time, the developer behind Winlator Bionic is recommending to delete the APK. We'll have to wait and see what happens moving forward with Winlator Bionic. Some people don't seem to care about Floxif and these kind of viruses and will continue on using the APK without any sort of worry. But when the developer is saying don't use them, I tend to listen. Next up, we're talking about PlayStation 2 hacking with Protopone. There seems to be a brand new exploit here that says that all PS2 consoles are now hackable via a memory card. From my understanding here, Protopone is 100% free and open source and available on GitHub. And there is an article about this, and if you're interested in learning more about it, like everything we talk about, links are in the description below, right at the bottom. I don't hide my sources. And they say here it took 25 years to reach this point, but now all PS2s, including all special models, arcade prototype debug consumer model, special custom builds, can load homebrew without disks. Additionally here, they say that the Protopone exploit will automatically boot if present on the memory card, and it works from any memory card. So Magic Gate support is not required for this exploit to work. Let me know your thoughts about that one in the comments below, but I would say that this is a pretty big breakthrough and a pretty impressive one at that. And speaking about stuff that's free and open source and on GitHub, next up we're talking about RetroAssembly, and I think a lot of people are going to be excited about this one. It's being tagged as your personal retro game cabinet in the browser. So they say here it's a web-based retro game collection cabinet. It lets you play and organize games from classic consoles right in your browser. No installs, just upload your ROMs and play. And based on what I can see here, RetroAssembly supports a ton of different consoles. Arcade, Atari 2600, Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance. Game Gear, Genesis, Master System, Neo Geo Pocket, Neo Geo Pocket Color, NES, Sega SG-1000, SNES, Virtual Boy, WonderSwan, and WonderSwan Color. And as for some of the features here, they say it auto-detects and displays beautiful box art for your games. Save and sync your progress, resume anytime. Some emulators support gameplay rewind. Navigate your library with a keyboard or gamepad. Retro-style visual shaders for that authentic vibe. An on-screen virtual controller for mobile play. Let me know your thoughts about RetroAssembly in the comments below. Is emulation in your browser, whether you're playing it at home or on a mobile device, or I guess basically anywhere, of interest? Do you think this initiative is pretty cool or not? And speaking about emulation in your browser, next up here we're talking about Retrom, which is a centralized game library collection management service with a focus on emulation. And Retrom just got a brand new update. And yes, it allows you to play some stuff in your browser. So as of version 0.7.22 of Retrom, they say initial emulator.js and cloud save support has been added. It's happening. Built-in browser-based emulation is now possible in Retrom via emulator.js. Configure the newly added built-in emulators to support the platforms in your library and simply click the play button. Additionally, because yes, there's more, they say the following features are coming with this initial release. In-browser emulation, of course. Managed cloud save files for supported emulators and cores. manage cloud save states for supported emulators and cores, configurable automated backups of both cloud save files and save states, in-game overlay for easy configuration of the emulation experience and control schemes, gamepads too, and import-export your save files and save states straight from the in-game overlay. However, it is worth noting though that things may not be perfect. They say here Emulator.js-based emulation is still considered experimental, so you may encounter bugs. I would say overall this is a massive update for Retrom. If you use Retrom, let me know your thoughts about it in the comments below, and let me know your thoughts about this update. And speaking about stuff that's pretty huge, next up we're talking about Summer Game Fest. And Summer Game Fest viewership numbers are trickling in, and this seems to be an extremely successful year for Summer Games Fest. The data here is up on VGC, and again, like everything we talk about, links are in the description below. But they say they saw a viewership increase of 89% compared to last year's edition. They go on to say that the show peaked at more than 3 million concurrent viewers, which means people watching at the exact same time, and that's across Twitch and YouTube. Viewership on YouTube increased by over 40% compared to 2024, while on Twitch it rose by 38%. I would say that's very successful. I would say that all of the game announcements, the hardware announcements, and all of that stuff contributed to a very good Summer Game Fest. Let me know your favorite part about Summer Game Fest in the comments below, and whether or not you enjoyed it this year, whether or not it left you feeling like you wanted to see more of it, or whether you didn't enjoy it at all. I'm very curious about this one. I would say this one was way better than last year's, but maybe that's just me. And speaking about Summer Game Fest and hardware announcements, next up we're talking about the ASUS ROG Xbox Ally. Now, the Xbox Ally was officially unveiled during Summer Game Fest. It's received a whole bunch of, I would say, very positive comments, a very warm reception. There's a lot of rumors surrounding this one, and the latest one here, and this is just a rumor, is about pre-orders and launch date. So the rumor is that pre-orders are going to start in August with a launch date of October. Now, as for pricing, a lot of people are wondering about that one, myself included here. We don't have anything concrete just yet, and these are just rumored numbers. And rumored numbers by one person, so take that for what you will. Anyways, here it's being rumored that the Xbox Ally X, the more powerful one, will retail for €899, and the cheaper one, the Xbox Ally, will retail for €599. No pricing details for US dollars or anywhere else. Again, these are just rumors, and sometimes where there's smoke, there's fire. Sometimes where there's smoke, there's a whole lot of nothing. But based on the timeframes on it, if they wanted to release it before end of 2025, a release date of October would make sense to get it out before the holiday rush and before Black Friday and all of that. Who knows here, but either way, this seems logical. And speaking about handheld consoles, last up here, we're shifting from Xbox to Nintendo and talking about the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, I'm not making this stuff up. Everything I report on is in the news, and like everything we talk about, links are in the description below at the bottom. But the latest reports here, NSO GameCube emulation on Switch 2 has severe issues. Now, I've seen multiple reports from a bunch of people on this one, and there's a post here over on Reset Air that I think sums things up very well based on what I'm seeing here. And they say it's disappointing that this is happening once again, even after the N64 emulation on Switch 1 was notoriously poor and had to be addressed over time. But here we are. GameCube emulation on the Switch 2 is not great. It doesn't look as good as it should, and most importantly, has problems that can severely impact playability of some games. So at a high level here, the two main issues that I'm seeing being reported in a few different places are input lag and improper controller calibration. And they're saying here that input lag can be a huge issue for games like F-Zero GX and Soul Calibur 2. And controls not being properly calibrated, again, can be a huge issue for a game like F-Zero GX. Now, I don't have a Switch 2, I don't have NSO, so I can't check this one out myself. If you have a Switch 2 and NSO, let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and if you've been experiencing these issues with something like F-Zero GX. I'm very curious to see how things go from here in terms of Nintendo updates to the service. But it does seem that there are multiple people with this issue. And there also seem to be a bunch of people defending Nintendo and saying, no, there's no issue, they haven't noticed anything, and everything is absolutely perfect. Now, I don't know about you, but when someone tells me, no, everything is perfect, there's nothing wrong, and Nintendo is the best, and don't criticize Nintendo, I tend to throw comments and reactions like that completely out of the window. I don't know here. I will never, ever understand that mentality of so diligently defending a company saying that they can do no wrong and not wanting to speak ill of anything they do. That's a can of worms for another video. We'll talk about that in another one. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. I was looking for some fluffs in this video. I didn't see any and I'm a little bit disappointed, but who knows, maybe we'll see them on the next walk. Now, some people have been asking, where's my dragonfly clip? Sometimes I wear that when the black flies are bad. Black flies are not bothering me, so I don't have the clip on. The dragonfly does a really good job at deterring because those black flies are visual hunters. Mosquitoes are not visual hunters, so the dragonfly clip does absolutely nothing against them. Just a fun fact. Anyways, we talked about a bunch today. Feel free to discuss anything we talked about in the comments below. And if you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate, save your state.